Hello there everyone, and welcome back to this 30 Years War battle series. So we have boldly marched on, and we've come to yet another siege, which is the Siege of Magdeburg, or the Sack of Magdeburg as it's also called. Originally I wasn't going to put this in because it doesn't have any Swedish troops actually present, but I thought that I would add it because of two reasons. One, I wanted to try and defend the town, and two, I wanted to show just how devastating the war was on the German countryside, and also sort of it gives you an idea of how infected the battle in between the Protestants and the Catholics were. We can go ahead and take a look here. We've got the Catholics out here, and we've got the Magdeburgers inside the castle. I've gone ahead because Magdeburg doesn't actually have any own troops in this in the mod, so I went ahead and chose the Protestant Union to be a stand-in for the Magdeburgers. And we can see that there's quite a bit of troops here on the Catholic sides. The Catholic, sides, because they're attacking at two sides. One of which I did not notice, because when I played, I didn't have the minimap, so I completely missed that. But knowing how sort of the troops I have, it wouldn't really have mattered, because it would have spread my lines even thinner than they already were. And here we can see in the main town square a lot of anxious townsfolk have gathered. It brought, and the more religious folk has brought out a cross. And then we got the actual troops. And we can see the siege going on here. One of the things about this, I'm using a new software to record, and one of the good things is I can sort of pull up the Steam overlay, and it doesn't show, I hope, and so I can take a look at my notes here, so I don't have to scribble them down on paper. Anyways, we can go over the statistics here. So the Catholics, they were commanded by Gottfried Heinrich Graf zu Pappenheimer, or Pappenheim is actually, I don't know why I say Pappenheim. Pappenheim, which I think is, if you know sort of the 30 Years War, I think you're familiar with Pappenheim. And then Count von Tilly, or Johann Count von Tilly, being the two in charge here, and then on the commanders on the Protestant sides being Dietrich von Falkenberg, being the sort of the Swedish connection, because Gustav Adolphus sent one of his guys to sort of lead the defense of the town. But the forces are quite uneven, as there's about for every defender in town, there's about 10 Catholics outside. The strength ratio is such that the Catholics have an army of about 24,000, while the defenders have about 2,400. So not really in the defenders' favor. The town really sort of, what they did was they, as the Swedish king landed, they were emboldened, and seeing his victory, which took place just a month actually before this siege, they were emboldened to go against the emperor, seeing as though this quite large and very disciplined Swedish army had landed. Although at this point quite a lot of the Protestant princes of Germany were quite, and rightly so, quite skeptical skeptical of Gustav Adolphus' intentions, but that would change after this battle. Not necessarily because they trusted him after it, more that there was no other choice really. And we can see here the wall is breaking down, and I think, yep, they've opened the gate as well. I've managed to set up quite the pike defense here. And now we're trying to pull men off the wall, which is gonna go so-so. At the same time, they've actually broken through the wall on this side, and I think this gate is about to fall as well. Yes, just as I say it. And they've got some nasty Swyant infantry coming in here, and then more pikemen and some other infantry out here ready with the muskets, ready to march in. Most of my force in the town is actually just peasantry. I've got 2 units of spearmen, I believe, and then I have 2 units of spear militia, and then I have 2 units of these regiment of foot with muskets or handgunners really, which I had set up on either side. So at this point I've lost 3% of my men, and the enemy has lost 13. But that's going to change quite a bit, since the much larger Catholic force is about to advance, and yeah, it's going to be nasty, especially when they get through our pikes and come against the poorly equipped peasantry in town. You can actually go ahead and take a look here as the enemy coming through the gate. Let's see, what more can I say? I think I said that, or maybe it was in one of my previous attempts to film this. But the town, being under siege and realizing that they weren't doing too well, they were about to start negotiations for peace, or they were ready to sort of give up and hopefully save themselves. But they were just one day too late, and the message never reached the imperial forces, and so they attacked. See here that the pike line here, since I've set them on sort of defensive position, which means that they more lines were able to sort of set up there. In the beginning you saw the one sort of almost lying down, and then the 2 others laying their pikes over them. Although they're gonna get in a few men here on the flank. As we can see, a few men from the enemy here moving in on the flank. But this line is going to hold very well until he realizes he can start shelling it with mortar fire. The local militia has been broken, and they're not going to do too well as the pike formation moves through. The gunners are trying to support, but they're not doing too well, and I'm not entirely sure if they're actually able to shoot anyone out of this formation, since it's only lost 1 person. A complete massacre here. Although it seems as though we took down the Imperial banner. On this side, one of the regiments of foot has been stuck, sort of unable to retreat, and is being slowly hacked down by the pikemen. At the same time, we got a fight over here where my pikes also are holding very well, since they held that sort of... you can actually go ahead and see, I think, maybe still, no. They're gonna hold really well until they also, I think, succumb to mortar fire as he brings up his cannons. But he's trying to flank all over. He's actually gonna bring in the culverine cannons, the demi-culverines, to fire down that road. I think he's gonna try to fire in at the civilians as well. And we can see here that this unit has hardly lost anyone. Oh, here comes the mortar shots. Just as I say, they hardly lost anyone. The mortar shots come in and start wrecking this tight formation of pikemen. But before this, they basically lost almost no one compared with this regiment that was about to be completely annihilated. But these guys are slowly breaking down. We're going to see more mortar shots coming in. It's going to come some really devastating sort of right in the middle as well. Boom! That one was nasty. And that one as well. So now they're down to 84 men, so they're really falling apart. But they're still holding, trying to defend against the enemy. No, so the really important thing, as I said, was to show the devastating effect the war had on the German countryside, and by the attacker's own word. Let's see if I can pull that quote up. In a letter, Pappenheim wrote of the sack. I believe that over now we should note that the inhabitants in the town were about 30,000, and he's talking about the inhabitants that perished during the sack, because the men had not been paid, and so they went in to sort of get paid by stealing stuff or looting stuff from the people living in the town. And Pappenheim wrote then of the sack, I believe that over 20,000 souls were lost. Some sources say up to 25,000 inhabitants, so that would leave only 5,000 inhabitants standing after the sack. 20,000 souls were lost. It is certain that no more terrible work and divine punishment has been since the destruction of Jerusalem. All our soldiers became rich. God with us, or Gott mit uns, I guess, is what he had said, what he would have said. And all of this massacre took place in just 24 hours. During one day, they slaughtered 25,000 or 20 to 25,000 of the inhabitants in this town. And by the end of the war, it was estimated that only around 450 to 500 inhabitants still inhabited this town, that at this point has 30,000 inhabitants. So the main pikeland has been been brought back, or they're retreating. They've been broken, and they're fleeing now for the town square, and there's nothing really to stop the Imperials coming in here to the quite soft center with some religious fanatics and just peasantry. There's still some pikemen defending here and there, but we can see that the side here as well has been cut down. We can see that there's some men dead here, so there's clusters in the back indicating mortar fire has probably brought this line down as well. We've got some men here. Some of the local militia has come back and are fighting a regiment of foot here, or a pike regiment, with limited success. Seemingly, we can see the sort of bodies there. They've been pushed back from there, back to here, and they're going to be pushed back even further. The religious fanatics, as we put in just for, I guess, flavor, are now going to march out with the cross to meet the Catholics. But the Catholics are having none of it and have opened fire on the Protestant priests there, which are going to fight with sticks and crosses as they slowly move up on the this regiment of foot, or this gunner line, which is laying fire into the religious fanatics. And they're gonna go face to face with this regiment of pikemen, which is charging with their pikes. Bit silly, maybe. Yeah, pretty foolish there of these guys to charge in with their pikes. Seemingly these guys don't have a backup weapon. See if the rest of the regiment can come to these to their aid before they are taken down. It seems as though the regiment have come to their aid, and they're pushing back the religious fanatics. He is going to roll in a cannon here pretty soon. Yeah, he's already done that. It's actually going to fire down, and it's going to break the cross at some point. And at the same time over here, he's moving in to block off here. So now these guys, not only are they being cut down quite severely by this one, now they're cut off from the town square. And more gunfire is going down across town. They're shooting the governor's palace. We got a line down there firing into the peasants, which are trying to hide more inside the square here. The Zweians have come in and are laying into the flank of this pike unit, while this other one holds the front of it. Not entirely sure what these guys are doing, but I guess they're completely fed up with the situation right now. They're rolling up the cannons, and soon they're gonna start firing down here, and I think they're actually aiming for the peasants inside, but they're gonna hit the cross and gonna break that down. Oh, they're bringing loads of cannons. We can see the amount of just ground the pike unit has gained against this religious rabble, which are trying their best, but their best is not that good. And now more men has turned up of the Catholic force. Looks as though, I'm not entirely sure, but it looks as though they've turned to this, so they will actually shoot into the back of the fanatics. No, they turned the other way. They're actually going to fire into the town square instead. Well, two guys out of a unit of 126 are going to fire in. Effective use of that force. He's moved in another regiment over here, ready to move in. But I guess he wants to completely control all the entrances before he attacks. We have a very small gun line here, trying their best to inflict damage over here. It looks as though they did actually do 4-4-4, and they actually shot down the drummer, so I'm not sure who's drumming for that line right now. And now they're going in for the attack. We've actually missed when they broke down the cross, but we can see here that the cross has been broken down. Cannon shot broke it in two. The religious fanatics are still going at it, but they've been completely massacred since they can't really put up a good fight against these pike men. Looks like the gunners are actually turning around. They're gonna shoot the priests or the religious fanatics, which realize this, and they're going to charge, sort of ish, to the best of their ability. Which doesn't seem to be working too well for them. Although fighting the pikes weren't going too well for them either, so I guess this sort of a step up. Doesn't look as though they've killed anyone, and now they're running amok. And in the center of town, the peasants are now beset by all sides. We've got the Swyanders over here. We've got pike infantry starting to massacre them, and then we've got more pikes over here cutting their way through the infantry. The rabble. General doing his best to hold them off by firing a bit, but it's way too late for that now. At this point, the Allies have lost 77% of their force, and the enemy has lost 45, which is quite high compared with the historical accounts. But then during the historical account, the defense broke down a lot sooner than mine did, and it was a lot worse than my defense. But it's not about completely and accurately redepicting them. It's more about playing them out as we would have. Although oftentimes quite a few cannonballs flying in here. Quite a few times it goes the historical way, since there's a historical bias towards the historical winners of the battle. So we can see, just if we go away here a bit, just look at the devastation of the town. You can see all the smoke rising from the town if you look from far away, and you can hear the roar of guns. And they've shot everything to pieces, and the that town is on fire and everything. Apparently they are running amok, but doesn't seem like it. We have a few. These units are actually just one man each for these two, and I put this one to guard this door, and I think I'm gonna move that guy to guard that door. Unfortunately, they're gonna die protecting that great door. Let's see if he wants to move over there. He's got an entire line over there firing at him. Oh, now he's moving. Guard the door! It's very important. The family heirlooms are in there. You can see the bullets striking all around him. Ah! Who was that? Who goes there? That's one of those Skyrim things. Who shot me? Oh, I didn't... No one there? Oh. Ah. It must have been the wind. And now there's only a few men left. There's some men of the bodyguard. We've got the flag guy there. I think he's the last one now in the general's bodyguard. He's trying to get away. There's some peasants down there being massacred. Is he gonna do a last charge? Where is he going? He's gonna try to move into the corner there, but he was shot down by the line. And now only a few peasants remain here, pushed up against the wall. 25 men. I think they actually captured the town square because they had more men there. The forces deployed were actually even in number. You can see that he had only 100 more men than I did, but most of my men, as said before, were peasants. Most casualties inflicted was by the regiment of foot. I'm guessing these are the pikemen. Yeah, they must be the pikemen that held the front street, and they were the ones that killed the most. I don't think I can see his statistics, but there's probably a few regiments there that killed a lot of people just by all the peasants. But anyways, this has been the sack of Magdeburg, and I hope you enjoyed it. Next one should be Breitenfeld, so we'll actually go onto the field of battle and we'll have a proper field battle. There's even a special map for it, I believe. And yeah, that should be good, and hopefully that won't be too soon. I mean too soon. Yeah, hopefully that won't be too soon, but dreadful playing this battle series. No, what I mean is hopefully it won't be too long until that one's recorded. Anyways, as I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!